Good morning, everyone. Come on in this morning. Gonna have a great conversation. Let's see. Where is my... All right, y'all. This another day, another public policy talks. As I always say, it's a lot going on in the public policy area. This is a national election. This is a local. This is a state election time. This is a congressional. All right. We are going to have a good conversation this morning. Definitely want to leave some time to hear from you. Leave some time to hear from you this morning. So get ready to raise that hand. I want to get some feedback. We'll be doing a survey as always. We'd like to survey and know what you think as an Atlanta Black Chambers member. All right, y'all. We got a lot going on. This is 8:31. I see several of you out there. See Linda Jackson, what's going on? Andrea, Karen Mills, Marlene, Reginald, Paula Watts. See Janelle Perry. All right, everybody, we're gonna have a good time. Brother Henry Caslin, what's going on? Calvin Maddox. All right, y'all. It is 8:32. Hope you guys can hear me well. I don't never check my mic. Raquel, do I sound okay? Loud enough?
Your mic sounds nice. Check one.
All right. Thank you so much, Raquel. Thank you so much for making this possible. All right, y'all. It is another public policy day brought to you by Advancing Black Businesses. My name is Markee Tate, president of Advancing Black Businesses. Advancing Black Businesses is the organization for the Atlanta Black Chambers that educates you on and get you more engaged in the public policy process as a Black business owner and a Black consumer. I'd like to start with last week. I had a great time at Emory University with the Atlanta Black Business Institute. Carl, Selena, Joe, thank you so much for inviting me out. I had a great time with the Caucus of Emory Black Alumni and the National Black MBA. A great program. Looking forward to that program again next year. Also, the DC Fly-In. The DC Fly-In is literally booked. We have a nice slate of you going with us to DC. We do have the registration is still open for the actual conference. If you are planning on being there, please let us know. We want you to join us, especially when we go to our nation's capital to meet with our legislators. We will be partnering with the Georgia Chamber of Commerce is going to be up at the same time. We decided to go in conjunction with the Georgia Chamber, our partner in the chamber world. We have several people, several congresspersons. We will be attending a reception with our U.S. Senator, John Ossoff. We'll be engaging with Senator Warnock, who will be running around doing a lot. All of the Black legislators during the CBC conference will be doing lots of things. So it was very, very hard tying them down, but we will be seeing them at the event. So we'll get a chance to engage with those legislators in a more social format. In the past years, we have had individual meetings with those congresspersons, U.S. senators, and so forth. So it's up in the air, and if we'll be able to pull them in for a specific meeting, particularly the Black Congressional Black Caucus members, because they're doing so much. We also have, during our dinner, we have a heavy hitter that we have booked. That is the mayor. Again, the mayor of DC, Mayor Browser, will be at our dinner speaking to us about DC, about what's going on in the city. So we are looking forward to hearing from Mayor Browser. It'll be a close-knit meeting of 25 of our chamber members, invited guests, along with Ron Busby will be addressing us, the U.S. Black Chambers president. Also, Nicole Elam of the National Bankers Association will be addressing us also. So we're looking forward to hearing from all three of those dynamic organizational and elected officials, those leaders. We're definitely looking forward to hearing from them. DC Fly-In September the 12th through the 15th. Raquel has that in the chat. Thank you so much, Raquel, for that. The ABC, Governmental Affairs. I am going to see if I can share this. The ABC Governmental Affairs, we'll be talking about, that is Advancing Black Businesses, the State of Black Farmers on August the 28th at 6 p.m., moderated by our very own Dr. Diane Daniels-Adoma, and hosted by our expert in that agricultural area, Henry Jones of our Governmental Affairs Agricultural Committee. I'm looking forward to that event. Also, let me see if I can actually pull the glasses up. Let me say okay to that. We have also on Thursday, August the 29th, we are going to talk to you about what you need to know to be vote ready. That's put on by our very own Governmental Affairs from the ABC, our voting, who I call expert in the Atlanta metropolitan, really a nationally recognized Helen Butler of the People's Agenda. We'll be talking about your voting rights. She is a voting rights activist, and I call her an expert when it comes to that lane. So I'm looking forward to those two events. So going on down the list, turning over, let's see, the GCBC, the Georgia Coalition of Black Chambers, will be convening in the city of Augusta today, hosted by our very own ABB board member, Rodney West, president and CEO of the Greater Augusta Black Chamber of Commerce. The presidents will be meeting in Augusta. After that, Ronique has her annual summit. So Ronique, the GCBC presidents, the hate Melvin and I are going to miss it, but we have some other commitments, but we will be convening with them in the future. We meet on a weekly basis with those presidents. So have a great time in the city of Augusta. Keep up the great work, Greater Augusta Black Chamber of Commerce, where I serve as a board member, helping steer that Black business community in the city of Augusta. All right, y'all, a lot going on out there. I want to really somewhat start the conversation centered around our vice president unveiled on last Friday the economic agenda for the Harris-Waltz campaign. I am going to see if I can pull that up. Give me just a moment. Raquel, I'm going to pull that up, and we have that link going in the chat. Let's see how quick I can find this right there. Let's go here. We're going to basically go through this. I'm going to touch on some of these points. Hopefully you can see that on the screen. This is the actual press release that came out on August the 16th, 2024. The press release from the actual campaign talks about Vice President lays out agenda to lower costs for American families. Going on down to some of the bullet points: build the American dream, lowering the cost of renting and owning a home, calling for construction of 3 million new housing units to end housing supply shortage in the next 4 years, first ever tax incentive for building starter homes, a historic expansion of existing tax incentives for businesses that build rental housing that is affordable. So I'm just going through the bullet points, and you can actually look at that. As Raquel is putting that in the chat. A new federal fund to spur innovative housing construction. The Harris-Waltz administration will propose a new $40 billion innovation fund, cut the red tape and needless bureaucracy, lowering the rent for hardworking Americans by taking a corporate and major landlords, stop Wall Street investors from buying up and marking up homes in bulk, stop rent setting data firms from price fixing to raise rents by double digits. The rental community, going after that rental community, providing a historic, listen to this, a historic $25,000 down payment support for first-time home buyers. There's currently the Biden administration initially proposed providing $25,000 in down payment assistance for 400,000 first generation home buyers. So that's a good step in the right direction. Lowering the cost on prescription drugs and relieving medical debt. You heard a lot of conversation around that and about the cost, cap the cost of insulin at $35 out of pocket expenses for prescription drugs at $2,000 for everyone. Accelerate the speed of Medicare negotiations over prescription drugs. It says she will increase the competition, demand transparency in the healthcare industry. Going on, the Vice President Harris and Governor Waltz will also work with states to cancel medical debt for millions of Americans. They're looking at lowering grocery costs, advance the first ever federal ban on price gouging on food and groceries, set clear rules on the road to make clear that big corporations can't unfairly exploit you as a consumer. Secured new authority for the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission, and state attorney generals to investigate and impose strict new penalties. Cutting taxes for the middle class with up to $6,000 tax credit. They're going to cut taxes for the middle class with kids. It will provide up to $3,600 per child tax credit for middle class and most hard-pressed working families. A new $6,000 child tax credit for families with children in the first year of life. Going to cut taxes for frontline workers, cut taxes to help Americans afford health care on the affordable healthcare marketplace. So just going over those bullet points, those details, you can look over there. I know some of you have probably already seen that information. A lot going on. That's the economic agenda. The economic agenda for the vice president, the Harris-Waltz campaign. I read that over to you. Some of you may have seen that on last Friday when it came out. I was on a steering committee call for Get Out to Vote campaign that we're working on leading up to the actual election. And that came out during that steering committee meeting. And we actually went through that and talked a lot about that. So what you need to do after hearing that, and hopefully you start analyzing that, is that going to change your community? Is that going to close the racial? That's the first thing I look at in the economic policy when it comes to our community, when it comes to Black business owners, when it comes to Black consumers. Is my first question is that economic policy, is the policy of that particular candidate going to close the racial wealth gap? Is it going to close the racial wealth gap? You heard me talk a lot about that, talk about the Federal Reserve System, consumer survey of finances. It has increased. The white community has increased around 44% from 2019 to 2023 quarter four. Our community has increased by 12%. The racial wealth gap is widening according to those numbers. So that's the first thing I ask myself. Is it going to close that racial wealth gap? Is it going to help Black business owners get more federal contracting? Get more loans from the SBA? Those are the questions you should be asking about that economic plan, and amongst many, many other things. So the time is 8:44. We're going to have a survey towards the latter part of the conversation to talk about. I want to know your opinion on that by way of a survey. So it is 8:44. Going to open up the lines a little early this morning. I wanted to talk a lot in and around that economic plan. We have the DNC convention going on. We had some speakers, some dynamic speakers actually during the DNC. Hopefully you guys are able to see some of that or hear some of those sound bites of some of those great speakers, from former President Barack Obama, the former First Lady Michelle Obama. Last night we heard from the vice president nominee now has accepted the nomination from the DNC. A lot going on out there, y'all. Our Vice President Kamala Harris will be speaking tonight to accept that nomination. And I'm looking to hear more about that actual policy agenda. Haven't heard a lot outside of the economic agenda. I'm looking to hear more about that. And I see Paula Watts, go ahead. What's going on?
Hello, good morning, everyone. I'm excited about the agenda because in my experience and what I've seen the Biden-Harris administration and what they've done over the last 4 years is only just the beginning, specifically as it relates to issuing the executive order where these agencies are mandated to increase contracting opportunities to Black-owned businesses. This is just the beginning. That's why I was saying we have to be prepared. We're not prepared. Even when they were giving out the EIDL loan and the PPP money, no one was prepared. So they can only do so much, but it's also up to us to be prepared to fall in line.
All right. Thank you so much, Paula. We're definitely working on getting you prepared as a Black business owner. Paula, could you tell everybody about the event coming up next week? Do you have, I'm sorry, we should have had that information, Paula, to put in. That is actually next week. Sorry about that, Melvin. Didn't have that information. But Paula, the event coming up next week, can you speak on that very briefly?
Yes, I will be presenting under the Capital Readiness Program. I'm talking about the introduction to federal contracts.
We have over, I think, well over 100 people registered for that.
Paula, go ahead. He cut you off. Can you hear me?
Oh, yes.
Go ahead.
Yes, the webinar will be next Tuesday at 1 p.m. I will be talking about federal certifications and how you can position your business to get into the game without even the certifications. I'm more focused on everyone becoming effective as a small business and not necessarily dependent on all these certifications.
Markee, you need to unmute.
Thanks, Melvin. I went out for a quick second and came back. But thank you, Paula, for that. We'll get that information in the chat shortly about that great event coming up to get you prepared for what's coming down. All right. Who else do we have? That is Natasha. What's going on?
Hi, good morning. Thanks for letting me share. I'm driving, so I can't have my camera right now. But the policy agenda, I really think it's great, especially for first-time home buyers. I am a realtor in Atlanta Metro and New York, and a lot of people, they really focus on getting a down payment, and a lot of people forget about closing costs or having reserves and, you know, all the other aspects it comes to owning a home. So, you know, it's very important, and I hope this really does follow through, because I do have a lot of buyers that do struggle in the area. You know, they may not have all the means and the knowledge to purchase a home.
All right. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it, Natasha, for that information. All right, Henry, what's going on?
Hey, good morning, everybody. I just wanted to share when President Obama was in office, I actually took advantage of that same kind of program. His was around $8,000 for first-time home buyers. So my wife and I took advantage of that program, and it just made a huge difference. So I'm proud to see that they're going to try to implement that.
All right. All right, Henry. Hey, come back on the mic, Henry. I don't know if it's going to happen tonight, but I did want to mention that just in case. I know Henry and I had a good conversation yesterday. Henry and several other Black men, I want to say, was on CNN a few weeks back, right, Henry?
Yes. CNN came to our Black Man Lab weekly meeting. We do a Black Man Lab weekly meeting at the YMCA on Camilton Road. And concurrently, what came out of that was a Black Women Lab. And so they meet in another room next door to us. But when everything changed a few weeks ago with the campaigns, CNN came in, interviewed quite a few of us. I actually made that segment myself. And so, yeah, they just talked to, the Black men in the room about voting. And, we all stressed that that's not a problem with us. Y'all need to talk to the other communities. But everybody was very honest about what they're expecting from the Harris campaign.
All right, Henry, I'm gonna pull it out of you, man. I know we had that conversation yesterday. Just want to let everybody know, just in case.
Oh, just in case.
Yes.
So CNN reached back out to me, and they asked if I could do a segment with Victor. I think it's Cardwell. Victor comes on the weekends on Saturdays. The brother has that nice bald head like Markee. And so they asked me to come in and maybe recommend some other men to be a part of the conversation. They wanted, after Kamala's speech tonight, they want our opinion about the speech. So we're still waiting for confirmation from CNN, and it will air on Saturday, but it will record tonight if this happens.
All right, great. Okay, thanks a lot. Appreciate that, Henry. There is a chance that we may go on live. Henry, myself, and 3 or 4 other Black men may be on live after the vice president's speech tonight. So stay tuned to that or the recording. So looking forward to that opportunity if we're able to get on CNN tonight. Going to have a great time talking about what we heard from the actual VP in her speech and talking about public policy, talking about laying out her agenda. Also many topics have centered around public policy and that Project 2025, the Agenda 47 from former President Trump. I've heard a lot about that. We talked about that on this show. We talked about also negative agenda voting. It's time to move to the other side of that. We expect to hear the VP lay out her agenda. I know 86, almost 87, 88% of you on this call said you support Vice President Kamala Harris. She's going to give you more of a reason, I'm hoping, for you to support her. Montina Young Frazier, what's going on? Unmute yourself, Montina.
I'm coming. Hey, y'all. I'm actually trying to get out of here. If you're going to be at the Russell Center, I'll be there today. So I think, you know what, listening to it, you all know I'm an advocate just for small businesses and entrepreneurship. But I will say, I think that we've been having the same conversation for a very long time about home ownership. Hold on. And this popped up. My grandparents were having this conversation, and my grandmother's 87 years old, and they took advantage of an opportunity to purchase a home. I took advantage, just like Henry said with the Obama, when I built my first home. I had an IDA programming. I remember the $6,000 tax credits when my kids were little, and I'm a grandmother now. So I just feel like we're having the exact same conversations over and over. I'll tell you, with local politics, no matter what comes down from the federal mandate, there are already talks about this in your local communities. In my community, there's a moratorium. We don't want rental communities. We have homes that are affordable. We have down payment assistance plans. Again, I just think that we keep having the same conversations, and that many of us just need to make sure, I don't care who's really in office from a federal level, but we're focused on our local politics. That's
All right. Thanks a lot, Montina Young Frazier. Really appreciate those comments. Our specialist expert on local politics. Looking forward from exciting things coming down the road for you, Montina. Thanks a lot.
Yes. We'll be doing a lot in the government affairs. Hayden and I have our agenda and timeline, so we'll announce that soon. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, it's 8:55. Janelle Perry, what's going on?
Hello. So I think for me, as I'm thinking about this and just hearing what Montina was just saying, one of the things that I love about everything that the Harris Waltz campaign is proposing is they're looking at things holistically. And that's what it's all about. Historically, we've had people work to address things, but they're not looking at the underlying roots. We have to always know there's more than meets the eye. It's not just about having a down payment assistance. It's about all of these other things that we know as Black people hold people back. It's about, like the Mecklenburg County program, their new program director did her dissertation on the charismatic leadership tactics that a lot of these DEI programs have, where they put these Black people in position and they know that they don't mean well for people and they're just there to build trust. So it's about looking at everything that's going on and not looking at things from a superficial level. Because unfortunately, when we look at things from a superficial level, we just have that quantitative data. And quantitative data never tells everything. That's why I'm all about mixed mode data. We have to look at the quantitative data, but we have to look at that qualitative data, and the qualitative data tells what the true story is with stuff. So I am so grateful that we have a candidate that's up there fighting for the people and who is willing to tell the truth about stuff and not just what the narrative is, because the narrative is just what people see. It's just what people hear. But I'm so glad she's about dealing with the facts and putting that legal degree to use. So thanks so much, guys.
All right, great. Thanks a lot, Janelle. Appreciate the comments. All right, y'all, we have on the screen the economic agenda that we went over. Do you think VP Harris's economic agenda is strong enough for Black America? Let's see, 58% yes, 42%, 44% just changed, 45% said no. So 55 versus 45, yes, no. Hey, we're taking these polls. We can take this to the bank right here on your opinion. I definitely want to know your opinion. I try not to put my opinion out, as much, but you understand, I stated above what I look at first in an economic agenda. Is it going to close the racial wealth gap? Is it going to start that process? Is it going to build that framework to close that racial wealth gap? So answer those questions for yourself. I told you a little bit about where that racial wealth gap comes from. Any other comments out there? Any other comments? The time is 8:58. 8:58. We have officially 2 minutes. We can definitely go over that, but we have officially 2 more minutes, y'all. Any other comments? Looking at anything going on in the chat, Raquel?
Markee, I want to just quickly say that I was blessed to go to the event in DC with President Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris. And I had an interview to be a field organizer, got an unofficial offer yesterday, and they're checking my references. And if there's anyone that has some pull, go ahead and do it, because I am looking forward to be a field organizer for this campaign.
All right. Thanks a lot, Janelle. And I see in your background, you have a picture with Justin Pearson of District 86 in the state of Tennessee. Justin has been a representative. Justin Pearson have been a vocal advocate for the Black community in Memphis. That's my former District 86 in Memphis. I lived in that district and worked closely with the former person that was Representative Barbara Cooper. Held that district for about 30 years. So like that picture in the background, Janelle. Thanks a lot.
There's a comment from Dr. Jason Hayes that you might want to take a look at.
All right. Dr. Jason Hayes. What's going on, Dr. Jason Hayes? We haven't talked in a little while. Let's see. Raquel, can you read that comment? Because I am looking through.
Excellent feedback about the communities. We need to focus on local politics. The current presidential candidates cannot make a direct impact on our communities. First-time buyer programs are great, but we have to change and improve the economic structure in our communities. This means getting this information in the hands of the people who need it. I would love to see SBA field offices in communities of need, increase financial literacy in high schools, and even available to our communities as well.
All right. Thanks a lot, Dr. Jason Hayes. Really appreciate that comment. I know I was in the SBA Georgia office last week, had a good conversation with the SBA director. We will be actually working closer. You'll be hearing some more information about the ABC working in an official manner alongside with the SBA in a particular specific area. So stay tuned to that announcement that'll be coming down from the ABC sometime soon. So thanks a lot, Dr. Jason Hayes, for your comments. Really appreciate it. We need to catch up too. I know Coleman Thompson is going to be in town, Dr. Hayes. All right. All right. Let's go. Actually, he'll be in town this morning, just to let you know. Also, y'all, the time is 9:01 a.m. If there's not any other comments,
Markee, did you see Venus? Did you
Venus.
block it?
Yeah.
Right.
Good morning, everyone. I apologize. I was late. I was getting off another meeting, but just a comment, and this is a conversation for another time. But Melvin, you know that we're trying to raise awareness for all that's going on in the Digital Equity Act, and I am in the financial services space. And what I see is that even when we talk about digital financial equity and inclusion, when I'm asking people, questions related to this in our community, we are uninformed. We don't know what's going on around us, and we need to be paying attention to the activities that are going on right now. And especially as it relates to businesses, because there's a competitive edge for businesses. One last comment, the Affordable Connectivity Act that helped people in our communities be able to afford internet has been basically put to sleep. There's some activity around that, but that's something we need to be paying attention to because it affects our workforce, our financial, our connections to community, all of those things. So Markee, I'm going to reach out to you. Melvin, I'm going to reach out to you again because we need to get this on the radar for our communities.
All right. Thanks a lot, Venus. Longtime member of the ABC. Great hearing from you, Venus. Keep up the great work out there in this financial sector. All right, y'all. Any other comments out there? We're just over just a couple of minutes. We generally go over from time to time. Any other comments? Looking around. All right, y'all. I envision a future where Black businesses thrive and contribute to a robust economy. This vision can be only realized if the community engages in the political process, advocates for beneficial policies, and holds elected officials accountable. Let's heed the call to action and make our voices heard this November. The future of our Black businesses and our Black community depends on it. Hey, y'all, this is 9/03/8/22/2024. This has been another Advancing Black Businesses Public Policy Talks. Thank you for joining us. Looking forward to seeing you sometime soon, especially next week at this same time. And we got some exciting events actually coming up. So looking forward to finishing out this election cycle and getting you more engaged in this political process as a Black business owner and a Black consumer. Thanks a lot, y'all. Y'all have a good one. We'll see y'all next week. Tune in tonight to the VP's speech. Looking forward to hearing her lay out her platform for you as a Black community. I'm looking for her to talk directly to us. A lot of us are going to be voting. It appears, according to that survey that we have, over 86% of you have supported the vice president. So I'm looking forward to hearing something specific about the Black community. All right, y'all. Have a good one. See y'all next time.